Hi friends, Jonathan Monte here, and welcome back to Life Transformation, The Complete Journey. This is episode 9, where we'll learn how to foster a positive shift in the global consciousness. I hope that you're continuing to follow your action plans for creating the life you desire, and that you've begun making amends to those you've harmed. And be sure to continue this work as you begin to practice the principles and use the tools you'll learn here in this episode. Now, whereas our last episode focused on developing our awareness of how our behavior could be harmful to others, this episode is entirely dedicated to developing our awareness and ability to help others and be of maximum usefulness. Here we'll learn how to master our new way of living, how to broaden our consciousness and expand our experience. We'll understand with clear perspective how we've transformed and how our life can be an inspirational example to others. We'll discover how we can foster a positive shift in the global consciousness through our commitment to help others and share our experience. And if you've been following each episode closely, completing the exercises and practicing the tools and principles you've learned, then you've made some amazing progress. And while understanding the concepts of what we've learned allows us to effectively practice these principles, understanding alone is not enough. Knowledge without action is useless. So we must continue to use the tools and practice these principles. To master our new way of living, we'll need to continue our meditations, master our emotional response process, regularly reflect on our day, our behaviors, desires, goals, and beliefs, and bring these into alignment with our true self. We'll need to stay committed and continue to take full responsibility for our lives and correct our errors. The longer we use these tools and practice these principles, the easier they will become. But we should be careful to avoid taking our progress for granted. For if we become lazy and fail to practice the very principles which brought us here, then we'll begin to regress. We'll lose our awareness and fall out of alignment. Of course, no one is perfect and we all have ups and downs, but we always do our best to follow the path we've discovered. For each day is an opportunity for us to dedicate ourselves and practice what we've learned. The longer we use the tools and practice these principles, the more aware we'll become. More and more we'll see our place in the world, how we affect others, and how connected we all are. We'll understand how much power each of us has and how we can use our experience and energy to help others. In time, as we experience, as we learn and grow, our goals and desires may and probably will evolve. More of our potential will be revealed, and we'll have more opportunities to experience life in new ways, take on new adventures, and explore our limitless reality. The goal of this course has been to help you completely transform your life, and if you've been following our path, then no doubt you have. And this is no small task. We should recognize, understand, and appreciate just how far we've come. From whatever point you were at when you decided to take this course, you've learned the truth about how you are affected by our social and cultural conditioning, how we've suffered from the manifestations of our inner conflicts. We've learned how to effectively meditate and focus our mind, how our emotions work, and how to develop and use our emotional response process. We've taken an honest and revealing look at our life to find our truth and then set out to heal our wounds and create lasting changes. We've gone on a journey of self-discovery to learn who we are and what kind of life we want. We've learned how to create balance and harmony in a life of happiness, purpose, and fulfillment, and have taken full responsibility of our life, including our mistakes and how we can repair any harms we've done. We have traveled a long way and have overcome huge obstacles. And this is a big deal. You have triumphed in transforming your life, which I hope you're extremely proud of. You, your experience, your journey, your story, and your entire life is an inspirational example of what's possible, what can be overcome, and the amazing potential we can unleash when we take the specific steps we followed. Our transformation will not only be admired by those who know us, but it'll also be evident to those we just meet. Our energy, our awareness, and understanding, our way of living will capture people's attention. Not because we want their attention or we want to be noticed, but because in a world filled with so many pockets of darkness and reinforced ignorance, our life and our way of living is a welcome source of light. Others, no doubt, will be interested to know how you've changed your life. And this is an opportunity for us to share our story, our experience, and the way of life that we found. We have the power to inspire others and help them transform their lives. So it's our responsibility to do the right thing, to live brilliantly, with courage and wisdom, to show others through our actions what's possible when we follow this path. In this next phase of our transformation, we'll learn how we can help others and foster a positive shift in the global consciousness. Not only are these efforts essential elements to our successful transformation, but your efforts here are badly needed by others. For a long time, mankind has been in a state of darkness, a darkness which precedes the dawn. However, a shift has finally begun, and it's expanding. The light is spreading, and truths are being revealed. And we, each as individuals, are examples of what's possible. And through our service and self-sacrifice, and our commitment to help others, we can move the human race forward and foster this positive shift in the global consciousness. And through our efforts to do this, our own understanding, our own consciousness will grow and attract more people to follow our example. One of the ways we can begin to foster this global shift is by expressing our constructive energy through service and self-sacrifice. Being of service means we do something helpful for another person, whereas self-sacrifice is when we sacrifice our own interests or desires to help another person. I'll give you an example of both. Let's say I'm driving home and I see an elderly man trying to change a tire on the side of the road. I don't have anything specific I need to be home for, and so I decide to pull over and help him change his tire. That's being of service. But let's say, and I'll use a similar example, I'm driving home to watch a football game that I've really been looking forward to, and I see that same elderly man trying to change a tire on the side of the road. Now I have somewhere I'd like to be, home, watching the game. But I put aside my interests, I sacrifice what I wanted to do, which was watch the game, so that I could be of service and help him change his tire. That's being of service and practicing self-sacrifice. Now, it's important to understand that when we're of service, we should do so without expectation of anything in return. We may ultimately benefit in some way, but helping others with the intention and expectation of receiving a direct benefit or a specific response is not really being of service. Our motives should be focused on the unconditional giving and helping and not on what we'll get out of it. For example, I like to hold the door open for people when I enter a building. More often than not, the person I'm holding a door for will look at me, smile, and say thank you. But occasionally I'll have someone walk right through without even acknowledging me. If I were holding the door to get a positive response from people, I'd be disappointed. But because I'm being helpful without expecting anything in return, I don't care if I get acknowledged or not. It doesn't matter. This being of service without expectation is an excellent way for us to practice selflessness, humility, love, compassion, understanding, and patience. What we get out of being of service is the building of our character and the naturally good feeling we get from helping another person. The feeling that we get from selflessly helping others is so powerful that it makes us want to do it even more. The great thing, too, is that the good feeling we get from helping another person is usually experienced by the person we're helping. When other people receive or even just witness a selfless act of service, they experience the same good feeling. The feeling they get from this can then motivate them to go on to be of service and help someone else. You can see how simple acts of sincere, selfless service can spread positive energy into a widening circle of experience. And each day we're presented with opportunities to express kind acts and service towards others. Simple acts such as saying hello to strangers, saying please and thank you, giving up your seat or holding a door for someone. We can pick up trash, recycle, slow down and let a driver over who's trying to change lanes. When speaking to someone, we can look them in their eyes, smile, and listen intently to what they're saying. We can show more appreciation and give compliments. We can give blood or volunteer at a local hospital, orphanage, veteran center, elderly home, or nonprofit organization. We can give our time, share our expertise, or donate money to help support charities or to those who are in need. And if you're a person with influence, you can use your influence to bring awareness to helpful causes and organizations. And taking the time to be of service and sacrifice, our interests and desires to help others, is a behavior we should develop and practice throughout our lives. This practice alone will go a long way towards spreading the light we've found. Now, another form of service we should practice is that of working with others who are interested in changing their lives just as we have. From a state of darkness, we have awakened to the light of the truth. And from our new position, it's easy for us to see countless others who are still suffering in darkness, in pain, in unknowing. We have achieved what countless others desire, but unfortunately, many are either unaware a transformation like ours is possible, or they don't know how to achieve it for themselves. And so, if someone is interested in learning how we've achieved this way of living, then we should share our experience with them. But since this process requires the willingness to face the truth, it's important that we avoid going out to push our way of living onto others. If we do this, then chances are the other person will push back at our attempts. I don't believe we have the right to rattle people's cages to try and get them to wake up. Our actions, our energy, our way of being will attract those who are genuinely interested in learning more. And through our way of living, sharing of what we've found and mentoring others through the process is how we begin to foster a positive shift in the global consciousness. Now, I've been working with others and sharing my experience for more than 23 years, and I can tell you that helping others in this way is the capstone of my life's transformation, and it's something which I continue to do throughout the course of my life. This responsibility of working with others should not be taken lightly. It's an honor and a privilege to be a part of someone's transformation process and witness their change. So I'll share with you some practical steps from my experience in working with others. When we meet someone who's interested in our way of living, we should let them know that they too can transform their life just as we have. If they'd like to know more, then share your story with them. In a general way, let them know what your life used to be like, whatever problems and difficulties you had, what your transformation process has been like, what obstacles and blocks you've overcome, and what quality of life you have now. And it's important to be honest with them. There's no point in embellishing or trying to come across as having everything figured out. Remember, no one is perfect, and we all have problems. But our way of living isn't about never having another problem. It's about how we've evolved and how we've learned how to solve problems and overcome obstacles. The person we're talking to will not only appreciate our honesty, but probably relate in some way to your story and want to achieve the same quality of life you've created. Ask them about their life, their story. Get to know all you can about them so you can understand where they're at and what they'd like to achieve. Let them know that if they're interested, you'd be willing to work with them as a mentor through their transformation. And you could refer them to this course and or personally walk them through the same process you followed. But every case is unique, and some students may need more attention and help than others. So you can make yourself available by phone or in person to share your experience as they move through their transformation process. But you should let them know upfront what your availability is and manage their expectations as to what you can and can't do for them. You can share your experience with them, give them support and advice, but they still have to take responsibility and do the work to change their own life. It's also important that we don't give advice for situations we don't have experience with. It's not our job to tell them what to do and run their lives. We simply share with them our experience and understanding, but they themselves are responsible for making their own decisions and managing their own lives. You may find that your friends, family, and students refer others to you who want to learn more, and you may find yourself limited in how much time you can dedicate to working with others. It's impossible for us to personally work with everyone who's interested in achieving the success we've found. We can't help everyone, and we're under no obligation to work with someone we can't help or we don't want to help. And since you're sacrificing your time and energy, you want to make sure that you're not wasting it with someone who isn't serious. Now, if you've never mentored anyone before, you may be a little nervous when you first begin doing this. But remember, you've successfully transformed your life, and then all you need to do is share your experience. And pretty soon you'll become more comfortable and confident in helping others in this way. It's also important that we manage our own expectations with the person we're working with. Remember, when we're being of service, we should give without any expectation of return, credit, or praise, and without any expectation as to how well our student will respond or practice the principles in their life. Each of us are on our own path, and we all progress at our own pace. Some of us may be quicker at transforming our lives, while others may take longer. It all depends. So remember to be patient and understanding. You may find that some students will begin this process, but then never finish it. And if they do this, then that's their choice. Once they've found that it's possible for them to transform their life, it's their responsibility to take the action, not yours. If they want it, they'll do it. And if they don't, they won't. The goal in working with others and sharing our experiences are twofold. One, it's an opportunity for us to share the solutions and principles which have helped us. Having achieved success in transforming our life and not making our experience available would be selfish. So I believe that we have a responsibility to share what we've found. Two, if we work with others and share our experience the right way, then the people we work with will not only transform their own lives, but hopefully go on to help others the same way we've helped them. And this is how we'll foster a positive shift in the global consciousness. We find ourselves now at the beginning of a shift that is taking place all across the world. We have started to call into question the harmful ideas, beliefs, traditions, and customs which go back for centuries. We no longer accept at face value what we've been told or led to believe. We've learned that we have a choice and the power to shape our own destiny. We can and shall overcome the barriers which divide us and block us from the truth. And together we can create a shift in the global consciousness. We can move the human race forward. But this is no simple task. The progress of mankind has been painfully slow, held hostage by our own selfishness and ignorance. We've been divided by prejudice towards social status, race, religion, gender, education, and economic means. Mankind's ignorance and insecurities have become so ingrained that it's commonplace to publicly condemn, attack, or even murder someone just because they disagree. But we see things differently. We've learned how to take personal responsibility for our lives, our thoughts, emotions, and actions, for any harms we've caused others. We've learned how to peacefully express ourselves and correct our mistakes. We've learned how to create an amazing life of happiness, purpose, and fulfillment. We've learned how we can help others. And while we can't make people change, we can't force them to wake up to what we've learned, we can show others through our actions, our love, our compassion and commitment, that there is another way. And through our demonstration of character, we can influence a sweeping change in perspective, which will tip the scale and move us in this new direction. So let this mark the point in history where we finally evolve from hatred, ignorance, and selfishness into a new era where we resolve our differences and come together in a symphony of peace and harmony. But this is just the beginning. On this path, we'll continue to learn, to grow and evolve. We'll go on to have new adventures, find new discoveries, have new ideas, new challenges, and find new solutions. We are the seekers of wisdom and truth. Bound only by our imagination and willingness to create, we have in front of us a limitless reality which we can shape and direct. But our time is short and our responsibility is great. So let's begin. Together we can change the world. You can change the world. The choice is yours. It's been a fantastic privilege and honor spending this time together and being a part of your journey. Thank you for this opportunity to share my experience with you. And I hope you found here what you've been looking for. I'm incredibly proud of you, all the hard work you've done, and I'm excited to hear about your success. Please feel free to send me an email. Tell me about your experience. I'd love to hear your story. Again, thanks for watching, and I wish you all the best.